For most of history, Greenland was this massive, quiet kingdom of ice, kind of on the edge of the world map. But that has all changed. All of a sudden, it's become the center of this huge geopolitical scramble. So what's going on? We're going to break down exactly why the world's superpowers are now so laser-focused on this frozen island.
And this whole thing just exploded into the headlines with this incredibly blunt statement from former U.S. President Donald Trump. I mean, this wasn't some subtle diplomatic hint, right? It was a straight-up declaration of intent that sent shockwaves around the world and left everyone asking one simple question.
So why? What could possibly be hiding under a 2-kilometer-thick sheet of ice that makes it so ridiculously valuable? Is this just about military security? Is it about natural resources? Or is there something else going on, a much bigger prize that could literally reshape the entire global order? Let's dig in.
Now, here's what's so fascinating. While Trump's offers seem to come completely out of left field, America's desire to own Greenland is anything but new. It's actually a century-old strategic obsession.
I mean, this timeline really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? The U.S. has been interested since 1867, the same year it bought Alaska. They tried again in 1910. And then, after World War II, President Truman offered what would be over $1 billion today in solid gold. And every single time, Denmark said no. So you see, Trump's offer wasn't some random idea. It was just the latest chapter in a very, very long story.
Okay, so what's been driving this long-standing American interest? Well, the first piece of the puzzle is pure military strategy. It really is all about location, location, location.
Think about it like this. If you look at a globe, the shortest path for a missile to fly between Russia and the United States isn't over the Atlantic or the Pacific. It's right over the North Pole. And sitting directly in that path, like a giant, unsinkable aircraft carrier, is Greenland. Controlling it means you control the high ground of the planet.
And here's the thing. The U.S. is already there. For decades, America has operated a critical military base in Greenland, packed with advanced early warning radar systems. And we're not talking about a small outpost here. This is a significant military presence.
So this brings us to a really crucial question. If the U.S. military already has this vital base set up in Greenland, why the sudden desperate push to buy the whole island? What are they so worried about?
Well, the problem for the U.S. is that their current setup is unstable. See, while Greenland is part of Denmark, there's a powerful independence movement growing on the island. American strategists are terrified that an independent Greenland could just kick them out entirely or charge an absolutely insane price to let them stay. From their point of view, just relying on Denmark isn't good enough anymore. What they want is total, permanent control.
All right, let's move on to the second major factor. And trust me, this one is huge. This isn't just about military bases. It's about what's buried underneath all that ice, a literal treasure trove of resources that are absolutely essential for the 21st century economy. We're talking about rare earth elements, the minerals that have basically been called the oxygen of modern tech, and Greenland is thought to have one of the world's biggest untapped reserves. These are the materials you need for, well, everything, from the powerful magnets in electric cars and wind turbines to the AI chips and semiconductors that power our entire digital world.
And here's why that is so critical for the United States. Right now, China has a near total monopoly on these minerals. Look at this. They control about 90% of the entire global market. Beijing has already shown it's willing to use this as a political weapon by cutting off exports. So for the U.S., finding a huge, stable alternative source isn't just a nice economic idea. It's a matter of national security. And it's not just rare minerals. Get this. Geological surveys estimate there are over 31 billion barrels of oil under the ice in just one part of Greenland alone. That's billion with a B. To put that into perspective, that's more oil than all the proven reserves of a major producer like Norway. It's just a staggering amount of untapped energy. But even with the strategic location and the trillions in resources, there's a third reason, one that many experts think is actually the most important of all. It's something that's only just now becoming possible, and it's poised to fundamentally redraw the map of global trade. For centuries, the Arctic was a completely impassable frozen barrier. But as the planet warms and the ice melts, a new sea route is opening up, the Northwest Passage. And just look at the difference here. A cargo ship going from Asia to Europe through this new Arctic route would save around 9,000 kilometers and up to 15 days of travel time compared to the old Suez Canal route. The savings in fuel and time would be in the billions.
And this right here is the bottom line. Geographically, Greenland sits right at the entrance to this new global superhighway. The nation that controls Greenland will effectively be the gatekeeper. They'll hold the keys to the future of world trade. They get to set the rules, charge the fees, and control who gets access.
So let's put it all together. You've got a strategic fortress, a trillion-dollar treasure chest, and the keys to a new global trade route. The stakes of this Greenland gambit are absolutely immense, and if the US were to acquire it, it would trigger a seismic shift in global power.
I mean, think about the consequences if the US actually succeeded. America would instantly become the dominant Arctic superpower. China's critical mineral monopoly would be completely broken. Global trade would be rerouted through a choke point controlled by America. But the most immediate and maybe the most dangerous consequence would be the potential fracturing of America's most important military alliance.
Because here's the thing, Denmark is a founding member of NATO. The entire alliance is built on the bedrock principle of Article 5. An attack on one is an attack on all. If the United States, the leader of NATO, were to forcibly take territory from another member, it would shatter that foundational trust. The whole alliance could break apart from the inside.
And all of this brings us to this final and, frankly, pretty chilling question. As the Arctic ice melts away, it's opening up incredible new opportunities, but also dangerous new arenas for great power conflict. The fate of Greenland isn't just going to decide the future for the people who live there, it could very well determine the global balance of power for the next 100 years. So, will this be a new era of Arctic peace, or could this icy kingdom become the flashpoint for a new world war? The gambit is already underway.